yourself arrive, actually, first of all. Let yourself arrive in the place of you that wants to be here. And let yourself notice any parts of you that maybe don't want to be here today. Because sometimes we have a little bit of both sitting in our energy. Parts of us that are very soft and comfortable and feel at home in this energy. And parts of us that get disturbed by that. One of our natural instincts is to belong in something. We really like that feeling when we belong, like in a group of friends, or in a club, or belong in our family, or things like that. And we actually feel very frightened when we don't have that belonging feeling. And this goes all the way back to when we had to survive in the wilds a very long time ago. Yeah? Which meant that if we were on our own, so think of it like a pride of lions. A lion on their own is very vulnerable. But when we're part of a pride, when we're part of a herd or a group, there's safety in that. There's many eyes watching. If you ever watch anything in the animal kingdom or the bird kingdom, you will always see that there's ones looking out while other ones are feeding or doing whatever. So we have that part in our brain also. That part of us that feels safe when we belong in something. So when we come into like a group like this, we're checking all the time, especially in the early stages. Is this a safe place where I can let myself belong? And if we've had any experiences of being let down by people or being betrayed by people, we're on high alert for that kind of stuff. If we were bullied or things like that, especially if it happened with somebody that we felt close to or we loved. We're on alert for that again. We don't want to feel that kind of hurt. Notice how that happens. You feel a certain kind of hurt, and then you have this feeling, I don't ever want to let this happen again. We try and develop a protection in it. So when it comes to our sense of belonging, very often that feeling can be stronger than our feeling of whether this is the right place to belong or not. So we can over-compromise ourselves, or sometimes over-sacrifice ourselves to stay in something where we feel a sense of belonging. So this can show up it might be staying in a relationship longer than you know is healthy for you. Or staying in a job that you're no longer happy and it's no longer healthy. Or staying as part of a group or club or something like that when you've started to really recognize and realize this is not okay for me. And other times it's hard to let ourselves recognize that because it might be very subtle. So you know the expression of when we express, let's say to a group of friends, oh, I'm thinking of doing such and such a thing. Like I'm thinking of going traveling, or I'm thinking of having a baby, or I'm thinking of getting married, or I'm thinking of moving here, or I'm thinking of... And we get this response of it being shut down by people. We get the negative response of, oh, no, don't do that, because my friend, whoever, tried that and it didn't work. Don't do it. And we get this sort of naysayer response. And we might have the most wonderful idea or the most wonderful wish to do something or experience something. And as soon as somebody puts a naysaying negative opinion on it, we might start to question, oh, maybe it's not a good idea for me. Or maybe I didn't really want it that much anyway. We're thrown into this state of doubt and questioning because we trust the group. And that can be quite unconscious. We trust the group. Or you know when you get to that stage of you're dating somebody, yeah, and it's time to introduce them to your friends. But you know what you're doing in that. You know that there's an interview process going to happen, yeah, whether this is overtly or covertly. But you know that you're introducing this person to your friends to get the thumbs up or the thumbs down from either side. Is this person going to like my friends because I really want them all to get along with each other? And are my friends going to like them because I'd really like them all to get along together? And if something doesn't work out that way, so if your friends are like, oh, I don't know about this guy, or I don't know about this girl, I don't know, a bit of a weird vibe, or a bit of the whatever, we will question it. Or we'll feel rattled if who we're dating, and we may be really into them, if they say, oh, I don't really like your friends, we'll feel rattled by that. We're like, oh no. Because we're suddenly between this place where I have to decide between this feeling of where I belong and these people have really been there for me for blah blah blah, and this new person that I'm really into, and this feels like it's going somewhere. Are we familiar with these kind of experiences? So how we can betray ourselves in that, to say it really bluntly, is in the way that we will second guess, the way that we might self-sabotage, or not be able to really feel, well, actually, what do I want? What feels really right for me? And it might be that it's more right for me to go with this new person that I'm dating than to stick with these friends that put down everybody that I introduced to them. Or it might be, no, I should really listen to my friends because they have my best interests at heart. But we have to really know that in our heart of hearts. So what we need to get good at is recognizing and discerning our feeling of what's really right for me.